So we just finished the old school conference, and it was a great joy. And I'm sure that many of you were there. Also, I'm sure that there are many of you who listen to preachers on the internet and YouTube, and maybe you've learned a lot from them. But all these types of things, conferences and the YouTube, they cannot replace a local church, nor can they replace the ministry of a biblical pastor who loves you. Now, you know, famous preachers come in for a week and they preach, and I suppose that can be helpful. But the most important person in your life are not preachers on YouTube. They're your pastor, the pastors of the local church that are seeking to be biblical and seeking to be faithful. Now notice I said seeking to be biblical and seeking to be faithful. That's all of us. No one's perfect. There's no great man of God, just little tiny men of a great and merciful God. And so you hear some famous preacher on the YouTube, and then you go to church on Sunday, and your pastor's not famous. He's not on YouTube, and maybe he's not the most eloquent man in the world. I plead with you, do not judge that. Those of us who travel and preach, we're not worthy to carry the sandals of your pastor. And instead of just looking at maybe places where he has limitations, if he's a sincere man, if he is a true man, if he's wanting to serve God's people to the best of his ability, why don't you pray for him? I mean, pray for him every day. And let me give you some guidance on how to do that, how to pray for your pastor. Go into the New Testament and look up every characteristic of a biblical pastor, every responsibility of a biblical pastor. You can even go into the Old Testament and look up words like the shepherds or shepherd of Israel, and put together from the scriptures all the qualities and responsibilities and hardships that are in the scriptures, that are mentioned in the scriptures with regard to a pastor, and then pray those things. If you say, let me give you an example. A pastor, according to 1 Timothy chapter 3, must be able to teach. It's God's will that your pastor become a better teacher. Let me ask you a question. How much time have you spent complaining about his inability to teach? And how much time have you spent praying this, which is the definite will of God for him? Pray for your pastors. I've been a missionary, I've been an itinerant preacher, I've been a pastor. There is nothing more difficult on planet Earth than being a true, faithful, sacrificial, biblical pastor. And if your pastor is sincerely striving to be that, you need to honor him, you need to pray for him, you need to help him. Because he's worth more than all these visiting preachers put together. God bless you.